Antonio just got his special gift, but not everyone is enjoying the party that follows. Disney's Encanto was adapted by Angela Cervantes, published by Random House and Miss Melissa at the Oosterhout Free Library. Still at the threshold of the door, Maribel stood back and watched her family celebrate. A mix of emotions took over. On one hand, she was so happy for Antonio, and on the other, she felt so alone and unworthy. She wondered if having a special gift was the only way to make her family proud. Was she even really a part of this family if she didn't have a special gift? "We need a picture," Abuela called out. "Family, come, come, come. It's a great night, a perfect night." The family quickly gathered close for a family picture. "Everyone say, La Familia Madrigal," the family shouted. No one noticed that Maribel had not made it into the shot. She was on the outside corner, an outsider in her own family again. She walked away. All day Maribel had put on a brave face, but now the hurt of being unseen and feeling unworthy rose like a looming shadow. She wanted more than anything to earn her spot in the family portrait. Everyone seemed to know their role and their place in the family. Was there still room on the wall for her? Maribel headed to the courtyard, leaving behind the dancing and music. She didn't feel like celebrating. Instead, she stared at the magical candle, hoping for another miracle. She wanted the candle to listen to her the way it had listened to Abuela so long ago. Suddenly there was a crackle. A tile from the rooftop came crashing down to the floor. Something was wrong. The house wouldn't just break like that. Maribel quickly picked up the broken tile for closer inspection, cutting her hand on its sharp edges. She winced, briefly distracted by the pain. Then she noticed that all the courtyard tiles were fritzing out. They were malfunctioning. Maribel watched them, confused. What was happening? "Casita?" she said, her voice quavering. This had never happened before. She placed her hand on the wall as if to comfort the house. Then, crack! A small fissure in the stucco began to form near her hand. The crack continued to spread along the wall. Then it splintered. Maribel stepped back, frightened. More cracks appeared, snaking across the wall. They rippled everywhere. Maribel raced up the stairs to follow the main crack. It slithered past her grandfather's portrait and onto the second floor. For a second Maribel lost it, but then she heard the familiar, chilling snap of the wall as it broke apart. She glanced down the hallway and saw the crack pass Isabella's room, nearly extinguishing the door's magical glow. Maribel continued to rush after it, following its trail past Louisa's door, then Bruno's creepy tower, on towards Abuela's door, and then to the candle. As the cracks swirled and multiplied, the candle's bright flame dimmed. Maribel watched in horror as the whole house darkened around her. Meanwhile, the celebration in Antonio's room was in full fiesta mode. On the dance floor, everyone twirled and stepped to the lively salsa music. "Abuela!" Felix exclaimed, pulling Abuela up from her seat to dance. Abuela let loose with a few dance moves. "Okay, okay, weepa!" Suddenly, Maribel barged in, panicked. "The house is in danger! The house is in danger!" she screamed. The band stopped, and everyone gasped with Maribel, concerned. "The tiles are falling, and there were cracks everywhere, and—" "The candle almost went out," Maribel exclaimed, breathing hard. Everyone at the party began to murmur uncomfortably. Abuela looked around, noticing how upset some of the guests were. She needed to act quickly. She turned to Maribel. "Show me." Maribel led the family to the courtyard where the cracks had waged their destructive path, but when they arrived there were no cracks in the walls, and the candle's flame shined brightly. "It started right there," Maribel said. "The house was breaking. The candle was in trouble." "Casita?" Maribel pleaded. The house didn't respond. Abuela looked at the candle, then back to Maribel, embarrassed and disappointed. "Abuela, I promise." "That's enough," Abuela said, giving Maribel a stern glance. The crowd exchanged nervous whispers. "There's nothing wrong with La Casa Madrigal," Abuela said, turning to address the crowd with a confident smile. "The magic is strong, and so are the drinks. Please, music, dance." Maribel's father motioned to Louisa, who quickly brought him a piano to play to smooth over the awkwardness in the room. Isabella passed by Maribel and scoffed at her. Again Maribel felt alone and confused. Around her, everyone headed back to the party, but not without first giving her a judgmental look. Maribel's mom glanced over at her with worry. Maribel stood there confused. She knew what she had seen. As the party continued without her, Maribel joined her mom in the kitchen. Maribel was sure of what she had seen, even if the cracks were gone. Surely her mom believed her. It was all in my head. How did I cut my hand? I would never ruin Antonio's night. Is that really what you think? Her mom said, what I think is that today was very hard for you. That's not, Maribel started. I was looking out for the family. I might not be super strong like Louisa, or effortlessly perfect like Senorita Perfect Isabella, who's never even had a bad hair day, but Maribel sighed at how she sounded. Whatever. The house used the counter to deliver an arepa to Maribel's mom. I wish you could see yourself the way I do, her mom said. You're perfect just like this. You are as special as anyone else in this family. Maribel's mom pressed the arepa into her hand and held it tight. You just healed my hand with an arepa, Maribella said. I healed your hand with a love for my daughter. With her wonderful brain, Maribel's mom playfully responded, pulling her in for a squeeze. Maribel tried to wriggle away. She rolled her eyes. Big heart, stop. Cool glasses. Mama, Maribel said as her mom gave her a big kiss on the cheek. Temo, cosa linda. I know what I saw, Maribel said, not wanting to let the subject go. Her mom sighed. My brother, Bruno, lost his way in this family, Julieta said. I don't want the same for you. Get some sleep. You'll feel better tomorrow. Maribel headed back to her room and sat on her bed. She couldn't help but think how pathetic her room was without Antonio. Now he had his own magnificent rainforest room, and she was left in the same boring place she'd been her whole life. Unable to stop thinking about the cracks in the candle's dimming flame, Maribel jumped out of bed and opened the door to get a peek at the candle. The cracks were nowhere to be found. In the quiet of the night, Maribel heard a noise coming from Abuela's bedroom. Was she unable to sleep too? Maribel tiptoed to her Abuela's window and peeked inside. Abuela was softly weeping. Alarmed, Maribel stepped back. Abuela was the rock of the Madrigal family. What could possibly make her cry? Then Abuela pulled up the cords that dangled from her waist. Among the many keys was a photo from her wedding day. With sadness in her eyes, Abuela gazed at her husband. What do I do? If anyone knew how vulnerable we truly are, how quickly our home could be lost. Bruno knew the cracks would grow, that our magic might falter, and he kept it from us. And now I need help, mi amor. Some way to keep our home from breaking. If the truth can be found, help me find it. Help me protect our family. Help me save our miracle. Maribel gasped. The cracks were real. The miracle was dying. Maribel hurried to the courtyard. She was shocked, but also determined. She knew what she needed to do. Maribel was going to find the answers. She would help Casita, her family, and Abuela. I will save the miracle, she said. The house waved a window shutter excitedly, as if posing a question to her. Oh, yeah, I have no idea how to save a miracle, but there's one person in this family who hears everything. The next morning, the sun rose over the Encanto and shined down on the patio where the family was enjoying breakfast. Maribel arrived, feeling determined. The house was in trouble, and she had to do something to help, but she needed a little more information. She gazed around and spotted Dolores in line, stacking her plate with food. With her superhuman hearing, Maribel's cousin was the one person in the family who heard all the secrets around the Encanto. If something out of the ordinary had happened last night, she would know. That's where I'll start, Maribel whispered to herself. She rushed up to Dolores at the buffet line. Hey, Dolores, she greeted her. You know, out of all my older cousins, you're my favorite cousin. So I feel like I can talk to you about anything and you can talk to me about anything, like the problem with the magic last night that no one seemed to know about, that maybe someone secretly knows about. Camilo, Felix yelled, stop pretending you're Dolores so you can have seconds. Suddenly, the Dolores in front of Maribel morphed into Camilo. Worth the shot, he said. The house took the food back and whacked his hands. The real Dolores leaned in and whispered in Maribel's ear, the only one worried about the magic is you. And the rats, counting in the walls. There was a brief, awkward pause as Dolores thought about that. And Louisa, I heard her sweating all night. Maribel lit up. There was something out of the ordinary. Louisa had to know. Maribel spotted her sister flipping a table over for the family's breakfast. She was so strong that she could flip it with one hand. There we go, Louisa said with a satisfied grin. Maribel was headed towards her when Abuela entered the patio. Everyone to the table, said Abuela. Let's go. Maribel took Peppa's seat next to Louisa. Louisa, family, we are all thankful for Antonio's wonderful new gift, Abuela said, interrupting Maribel. Maribel gets interrupted a lot. Next time, we'll see what she has to say from Book Bites at the Oosterhout Free Library. Check out all our YouTube content and our in-person programming. On June 11th, we have a Wimpy Kid Day coming up, and we're also planning an Encanto movie night.